way to start your day.
Looking into Raila Odinga's legacy from the youth perspective and what it actually means for young people who are joining into the struggle. And when we say young people, we're just a younger pedigree of folks who may want to get into leadership, or those who are speaking to and forming agenda for the political atmosphere. Joining us in the studio this morning is Duke Mainga. He's the chairperson of the Commodities Fund Kenya, and he's also a politician and joins us this morning. Mainga, good morning.
Good morning. How are you, Duke?
Very well, Duke. Thank you so much for being here. You were to be joined by Casmo Makore, who is from the ODM Youth League.
Yes.
He sends his apologies and speaks of a personal emergency this morning where he couldn't make it. It would have been important for him to then be able to do so, because he's been vocal in some areas as concerns what the agenda is for ODM, especially speaking now when there's a lot of conversations around. So it would have been prudent to be here and have this conversation this morning, especially since there's so much around it. And so maybe at a later date, it would be a good idea to have that conversation in the public sphere with other people who can form the discourse. Mm-hmm. But, Mainga, we're glad that you're here this morning, because the conversation will go on, and it is in public spaces, and we need to have it. As we do, Dennis is going to welcome you with today's proverb. We'd love to get your interpretation of it.
So today we're in Cabo Verde, also known as Cape Verde. Okay. The locals prefer Cabo Verde, right? So it is a country where, let's just talk about their cuisine. So because it is next to the ocean, seafood is one of their main staples. So they have maize and beans as well, but they have something called kachupa. Would you know what kachupa is?
No, I don't.
No, you don't?
No, I don't.
So kachupa is not the Kenyan version of kachupa. Mm-hmm. So kachupa is their national dish, which is slow-cooked stew of corn, beans, fish, or meat. So their version of tumbukiza.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so that's what they call kachupa. So if you ever visit Cabo Verde,
yes.
Yeah, so don't say tumbukiza, just say
for kachupa.
Yes.
Okay.
But let's go to the proverb.
But there is kachupa in Kenya. You know kachupa?
Yes, I know the Kenyan kachupa.
All right.
Yeah. So every cat has a taste for a mouse. Every cat has a taste for a mouse. How would you interpret that?
I would interpret that as everyone has a perspective of life, and people view people and things differently. And in this context, because I'm here and we are talking about Raila Odinga, each and every person had a perspective about Raila Odinga, the things he did. There are those who loved him, there are those who hated him in equal measure. But at the end of the day, each and every person, actually in his death, has accepted that Raila Odinga did something that affected the lives of every Kenyan. And that is why we are discussing about him. Three almost 4 days after his burial. Correct.
Yeah.
Thanks, Duke, for that. Of
Yes.
course, and then looking into that, we've talked about, of course, let's take it back a year when the youth protests, I'm not going to call them, they were the anti-finance bill protests, beg your pardon.
Yes.
And a young lady
Thank you.
took a video and she said, Agwambo, leave it to us.
Correct.
You've done it. You've shown us the way. This one is hot, but we are going to take it. And she spoke to him directly. She didn't speak to anybody else. She spoke to him. Essentially, pass that gauntlet over to us. And we then will enter into this struggle. You've shown us the way. We know what to do. Let us deal with this thing. Now, it seems like that opportunity when indeed, really, physically, mentally, that position has been left. Are there folks who are going to take it up and actually go with that which Raila did for 40 years?
I believe that, yes, the spirit will continue because Gen Z, they were able to do it without Raila Odinga. But of course, Raila Odinga played a pivotal role in, pushing for the right to picket and the right to demonstrations. And he had the muscles, he had the courage to stand and face the government. and say we are going to the streets. He was the only person who could ask people to come out, and they would come out not knowing what they are going to do, and they could come out in large numbers. Obviously, there's going to be that void, but I'm glad with the current generation that we have in place, a generation that is able to mobilize themselves through social media, and they turn out, to come and do stuff out there, both political or even in social, in the social spaces. So I believe that for some time moving forward, Raila Odinga's spirit will still continue, because he created this space, and he made young people realize that we have to fight in order for things to happen in this country. So the spirit is not going to die anytime soon. But of course, we have lost a very, very, pivotal person who began this. And everybody knows that they had somebody they could run to in case they got into a mess. When those young people are saying that we are going out, Baba, don't come out. They knew, in the case of anything, if things get tough, Raila Odinga would come out and support them. If people are going to die, for instance, one of the reasons why Raila Odinga became very, very popular is because he was known to be a person who was fighting for the downtrodden, for the people at the lowest, part of the pyramid. And you saw recently when we lost young people during those demonstrations, is Raila Odinga who came out and said these people must be compensated. The other day, even during his, what was it, at Kasarani, there's some young people who died there. People are saying today, worried that Raila Odinga was alive, he could have fought for them to even get compensated and even get recognized. So obviously there's going to be that gap, but I believe the generation we have in place, the Gen Zs, they are going to continue with the same spirit. So nobody should joke around that Raila Odinga is gone, so nothing's going to happen. No.
So we speak about a man who stood for democracy, who fought for the rights that Kenyans enjoy today, right to picket, right to have their voice, public participation, just being part of the entire processes and governance in the country. But immediately after what one would say, what has been Christian, the Gen Z movement, Raila Odinga's formation, broad-based government, and a lot of Gen Z said Raila Odinga took advantage of their own struggle to then have cabinet positions. Is there any credence in that?
I don't think so. My perspective of Raila Odinga is that he loved peace. Raila Odinga was able to sacrifice his life for Kenyans many times. When you count down to 2008, when we had the post-election violence, Raila Odinga went for the handshake to save this country. And I'm thinking that even before he died, he knew what lack of peace. He knew what this could have caused this country. And that's why he decided to create peace with the existing government of His Excellency William Samoei Ruto before his death. Afterwards, that's when people are realizing, what if Raila Odinga was not in good terms with the current government? Would we be having a country? And this is one thing I've been talking to Gen Zs. They need to keep in mind and get to, understand that there are very many people sacrificed for us to have a stable country. A country where I'm able to wake up in the morning and drive to Spice FM within 10 minutes and I'm here. Nobody's obstructing me. Nobody's giving me trouble on the road. That alone is something that we should be able to celebrate about. So Raila Odinga sacrificed all these things, and one of the reasons why we actually admire him so much is because he was able to withstand all the failures and move on with life. And really nothing happened. I'm sure there are very many people who told him, Baba, don't let go this thing. Let's fight for this. Let's do this. But he had a way of managing them and he still remained powerful. It's one thing I learned from him, and it's something that I actually wanted to advise my young brother Makure. D gotten the courage to come. That the most important thing in life that we learn from Raila Odinga is the power to build, structures, strong structures that can keep you going even if you lose an election.
Did he build strong structures? Because look at what is happening in ODM today. You look at a party that he built together with his team. It has been strong, about to celebrate 20 years. He passes on, and you look at what his what his team pretty much is doing. There are those who want so that they don't even seem to be speaking from the same script. We will go with broad-based beyond 2027. You look at the text, even under the broad-based government, it was not a political alignment. And one asks the question: individuals who remain today, have they consumed the aspirations of the party and the man that was Raila Odinga, or were they just there for the sake of being in office?
Uncertainties. These people don't know about tomorrow. They're stressed. One of the things is, remember, there are people who still feel like Raila Odinga did a huge mistake by joining the broad-based government. Immediately after the Gen Z's demonstrations, somebody said that it's not that now we're in love with the government, okay? It's just because we've been managed. Still there are issues, still there are problems, there are issues that are unresolved with this government. So there are people who still believe in the likes of Sifuna, whatever they are saying, okay? And there are people, let me quote this. There's a shepherd in the name of Raila Odinga. And what is happening now, the shepherd is dead. We have young sheep, we have old sheep. Young sheep, the likes of Marco Ure. The young people who depend on Raila Odinga. This is the only person who could speak good about Marco Ure on a table of opportunities. Okay? Now, the fight for ODM for me at this moment is completely inconsequential. Why do I say this? You are fighting for ODM, and you're not focusing on building your own brand. All right? People are seriously fighting for a party that has no shepherd, and the sheep have been left to wander in the wilderness. Some of them will get towards the end of the age, and some of them will die along the way.
But there's an interim head of ODM. In fact, he's even called a meeting today. Oburu Oginga has called a meeting today, at least the Western troop, to try and get things in order, no?
Oburu Odinga lacks the charisma that Raila Odinga had. Oburu Odinga, to me, looks tired. Oburu Odinga to me looks like somebody who's again also maybe fighting to leave his legacy, in whichever way. Oburu Odinga, I don't think he understands what is happening outside there. Okay, for him, he believes, my brother said, we are going to be in broad-based government, but maybe he doesn't understand what is happening out there. Okay. And that's why you're seeing these other young people running up and down making noise. But let me say this. At the end of the day, ODM maybe can, survive for maybe 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 years, let's say. But it could have survived more, worried that Raila Odinga was alive. But now, since he's gone, the likes of Gladys Wanga will be fighting for their interests, because at the end of the day, Gladys Wanga became governor because of Raila Odinga. There were other very strong contenders in Homa Bay, including the current CS for Treasury, Mbadi. There were Kideros and the like. Some of these people, they made decisions, the kind of decisions they made were because of Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga, whoever he picked, he was the only person who could create meritocracy where it doesn't exist. And Raila Odinga could call you whatever name. He brought some people in government, called them experts. Actually, some of them, you look at them, they are not experts, but people believe that they're experts, that President William Samoei Ruto had appointed riffraffs into the government, which probably is not the case. He's the only man who had that, that capacity to make things happen. But as things are happening now, for me, and because we are talking of young people, what I learned from Raila Odinga, build your own brand. Make it as strong as possible so that you can fit anywhere.
Okay.
This politics of depending on hanging on other people's coat, they're long gone. And
was peace actually created with this broad-based government? Because I'm still going back to this young lady, by the way. And we are looking for her.
Yes.
We'll have an opportunity to speak with her,
Yes.
because
Yes.
she represented a voice of many, many people. At that point, and that could be the marker that we use for this discussion, at that point where she was saying, leave it to us. We've seen what you've done. Leave it to us. Let us go forward. I doubt that what she meant at that point was, you guys now join together in government and still leave us out. Look at the conversations that are being had today. There's a chessboard, and President William Ruto is trying to see how he can gather the support from the ODM party, flailing or whatever it is, that he's going to take advantage of what could be fissures in the party at the moment and gather as much support on his end as he can. Where is the voice of that young lady who said, leave this fight to us in this political chess game? Where is that voice of the millions of people who thronged into the streets of Nairobi in that June 2024, who said, nah, it's a finance bill, but it's a way of doing things that absolutely has to change? For those millions of voices, there was no peace. This broad-based government did not deliver a promise for them. It did not deliver peace. It did not deliver unity. And now that we see that Raila Amolo Odinga is dead, it still is not including that voice. This political direction is still not including the voice of that young lady representing millions more who are saying, nah, things have to change. Where is the voice? Where is it represented?
Okay, allow me to say this. Whatever the Gen Zs did, actually, it bore fruits, because they were capable of overturning the finance bill, all right? And that was done by His Excellency the President. And I want you to know this. The President is not stupid. His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, he knows
exactly what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing, and he knows that the young people have a voice. Now, the only challenge that these young people had, sometimes they are fast. They thought that they could work without a structure. And it's been proved that it's impossible to work without, they were calling themselves leaderless. All right? It's proved to be.
They still do.
They still call themselves. And to me, I still argue that will not work. Because at the end of the day, when you're leaderless, you can't come 20 million of you or 10 million of you to sit down to have, an honorable discourse or discussion.
So they need a leader.
Definitely. But they needed to be a leader. But now, a few, 1 or 2, 3 young people, and with the mentality or the mindset that we have in this country, that any time, and I don't know how we are going to clean this, so that we make young people believe that we can bargain for something decently, all right? That we don't need to be really use thorax, come with the thorax, with the way of fighting.
But one would argue that is the only message that the government understands. Let's talk about being leaderless.
Yes.
So, you see, for a very long time, the political class has argued that the young people need to come with the representatives and the leaders so that we have the conversation.
Correct.
But here are young people who are saying, we do not need to have a conversation. These are our issues. These are our demands, and we speak in unison in one voice. You deal with our concerns, address our issues, and we are good. It is not about sitting on a round table, enjoying China mandazi to have a discussion. No, this is our concern. A million of us have said, this agenda, we want you to address it. It's not a question of having a leader. If a government listens to these millions of young people and addresses these issues, you do not need a leader. But the purpose of the political class saying we need a leader is so that the young people can be managed based off what the young people say. We talk about peace at that time, that broad-based created peace. The country did not lack peace. It's Kenyans who went out there to agitate for their rights based off what the constitution gives them. Raila Odinga and William Ruto did not create any peace. The country was not fighting. So the issue of broad-based broad peace does not exist. So the question is, do we look for the leader or do we address the issues that Kenyans are raising?
We need to begin by addressing trust. Kenyans, including young people, do not trust each other.
Not trust the government.
No. Let me begin with each other, all right? And we need to change that mindset. We have had some of young people who have flourished in the political space. You can name them, the likes of Morara Kebaso, the likes of this young boy who was coming here, Makure. They were seen. Their names came out during the Gen Z protests. But within a very short period of time, people started calling, the very same young people started calling them, names. I'll give you an example, the story of the Israelites. God knew that he had the power to move them from Egypt to Israel. He never needed a leader. But he saw it right that we must have one person, all right? There must be somebody who speaks your mind, who talks about the issues you are going through. And that's why he chose Moses to lead them all the way to to Canaan. So my brother, whether we like it or not, where these guys normally defeat us is because these older guys, they know how to organize themselves. They come together, they agree, yes, this is your talent. You are capable of speaking this. You are capable of doing this. There's somebody who's very good in mobilizing people to go to the streets. And there's somebody who's very good in speaking, about the issue that people are going through. Not every voice, can be listened to. Then that will be noise. People have to sit down and agree who's going to speak on our behalf. Okay, anyway, that said, I think moving forward, my thinking should be that the young people must be, organize themselves. And now that we have lost a leader in the name of Raila Odinga, we must find a way, or they must find a way, on how, in a very decent manner, they should speak to the government. Because if we continue the thorax way, we will lose what these fathers have fought for very many years, Dennis.
But picketing and demonstration is an organized way that is recognized by the Constitution.
I agree.
And that is a way that young people and Kenyans are communicating to the government.
Correct.
So that is organized. That is a planned way. That is a structured way. Question is the other side understanding the Constitution, the rights given to Kenyans, and listening to the issues?
Now, government, for instance, you look at what His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto is doing. I'm 100% sure that now he has called himself into a meeting, definitely. And there's some people actually who are saying that now he's going to be, let me give you the argument that some people are saying on the ground, that he's now going to be a tyrant. He's now going to, because there's nobody who's opposing him. I want to let these people know that sometimes great people can get weaker, or they can relax when that opponent is gone, because probably right now he has no one that he is disapproving. All right, so let's not be scared. Let young people continue speaking. Let young people continue expressing their issues. But I still insist that can be done in a very, very, in a very decent manner. Because again, let's not forget the fact that in this country we have some rogue young people. Not all young people are speaking the right thing. There are those who take advantage of the situation, to mess up stuff within the country. Yes.
Okay. So, you're saying that a leader is needed to put people together to then take up the rallying call so that things can be different. There is a marked dissatisfaction with the way things have been run politically, administratively, in the eye of governance, all of this in the country, which was represented by a number of things. But that doesn't seem to change much. And that's what I'm saying in this point, that if the legacy of Raila Odinga is going to be lived through, even with younger leaders who come up into the future, what is going to be that thing that will change in order for the click to happen? How do you know? Because you yourself you've just said that there were people who were seen to maybe be the voice, but somewhere along the line, something happened. What's that something? And why do we not, if truly there needs to be a leader for this change, why then don't we see that person who will come out and stick to it? I keep giving the example of Bassirou Faye, who is a 42-year-old leader, president of Senegal. He was a tax auditor before that. And his message was compounded, it was compacted over and over and over again. He was thrown in jail because he went against the government of the day. He won an election days after coming out of prison. And the people of Senegal said, no, this is the person. This is what we want. He's been consistent. He was not swayed. People tried to put him in their pocket over and over and over again. He said no. What's the problem? Or do we not see, or are such people not being propped up? There has to be an issue. We need to sort it out. What is that?
Okay, now, in my other life, I didn't say this. I'm the chairperson of Kenya Young Professionals Forum. We sat down as young professionals and we realized that whatever that the young people are discussing in this country currently are the slogans: 1 term, 2 term. Nobody's speaking about the real issues. Because if we fix unemployment issues in this country, you go to countries like Germany, my brother, sometimes the young people in that country, they don't even care who is the president, who is holding power at that particular moment, because they are busy working. Whatever challenges we are going through currently in this country are issues to do with unemployment. right from the county level way up to the national government. If we focus fully, on fixing these issues, there are very many avenues through which young people can be able to make money. Instead of being bullies in social media and the other spaces, how are we going to capitalize, on the existing talents and help these young people, create opportunities, make money? At the end of the day, we will have no challenges. I am in this government, and I'm one of those people who normally keeps on reminding the president that we were elected into power because we came with the hustler narrative. And the hustler narrative was, to uplift the people at the lowest cadre.
Which is not.
From your perspective, probably.
No, I'm saying, look,
yes.
Because my question was very clear,
yes.
Duke.
Yes.
That what is the problem where we say there needs to be a leader with which somebody is going to have a conversation and let's start to move this thing. We talk about uplifting people from poverty, which is an agenda. We seem to think that what the young people are interested in right now is putting a meal in their belly and then giving them something to do, which is important.
Very, very
but
important.
People want change in governance. That's what we're saying. And so if that change is going to occur in governance, who is that voice who's leading the charge to ensure that change happens? Let's not talk about this hustler narrative whereby we're giving people a hustler fund loans that we know even today is not functioning. That we know that the mama and boga that they said they were going to give food to, even that one is a problem. Today. It's not. So we can ride on that because it sounds sexy.
Yes.
But let's just be serious about some issues here where people are saying, you know what? If we are going to become this first world, everybody keeps faffing about, there are things that need to be done. And that's the change that people are looking for. Who's doing it?
That should be, from the government of the day. That's the truth. The government of the day has a role to play, in ensuring that, things are happening within the country. And I want to say that this government, for instance, it's begun from, on a wrong footing, We had challenges. You remember we were to manage demonstrations. We had to manage hunger for almost 1 or 2 years.
So did other governments.
Sorry?
So did other governments as well.
I agree. So with other governments. So the challenge with our country is sometimes we need things to be done instantly. And then government, my brother, things don't happen instantly. There is always procedure on how things happen. Let me tell you this, Oko. There will never be a vacuum in leadership. All right? Naturally, the law of nature knows how to organize itself. That's why even in the village, when, for instance, a member of parliament disappears, people have a way of, bringing themselves together. And I'm very, very glad that Kenyans today, they are enlightened. Kenyans understand what needs to be done. Yesterday, I saw somebody from the US trying to push young people to go out and start demonstrating. The young people are like, no, at this particular moment, we don't have the energy to go out to demonstrate. We want to discuss and fix issues. We need to get to a level whereby let's not always be talking about problems, all right? We are the people, we ourselves, we need to change our mindset and be like, what is it that I can do? Personally, myself as HT, I'm doing a lot of things on the ground on assisting young people to get opportunities through my, my company, E-Generation. I'm assisting young people to get skills. And each and every 1 or 2, 3 months, we are changing lives of 10, 20 young people. Something is happening. We must wake up from this mentality that each and every day we are saying, oh, government has to do this, oh, government has to do this. Let's look at those people who've been given opportunities by the government. What are they doing to create, opportunities for other people on the ground so that we run away from the mentality of complaining each and every day.
But
there's no vacuum. Allow me finish this. There's no vacuum. There are very many leaders, both at the local level and even at the national government. The challenge is we're only focusing on the president all the time. All right? When there are very many people, within the spectrum who can be able to change the current situation.
You see, it is said that when you want to kill a snake, you start by not cutting the head, right?
Yes.
Right. So when you talk about the leadership and structure of government, the leader will always get that smack. Because let's talk about fixing the country, right? And the young people have said we need to fix how the country is governed. Who is leading that? It is the president. We talk about young people who have gone to school, who have graduated, there are no jobs. The president was elected on a promised that he will create an environment where young people get these jobs. He will create 1 million jobs every year. Has that happened? No. Who do you go back?
It is happening.
The owner of the promise, right?
Correct.
So here we talk about fixing the governance of the issue, playing by the rule of law, ensuring that even when Finance Bill 2024 was there, that public participation did not happen. These are issues that Kenyans want. Let us have a country that lives by the rule of law, you know? And if these things are not happening and Kenyans are getting out there to say, we want these things fixed, it is not that they do not have a plan. They understand what it is they want and how they want these things be done. Question is, again,
Yes.
is the government listening to the issues being raised, or is the government being dismissive because they think these are young people who spend their time on TikTok and on Twitter and there is nothing? Is the government creating an ample good environment for these young people to thrive? And young people have told the government, no sir, you're not doing that and we want you to fix it.
Now, for instance, my brother, you are a young person, okay? You've been raised with the morals of this country, in the moral way. Are you waiting for the president to tell you that you need to wake up in the morning and do right content in terms of gender-based violence and the like?
I would
Are you
want...
waiting for the president?
I will wake up
remind
early
you
in the
to do that.
morning to write content on gender-based violence, put it on my social media, but I might not put it on my social media because the government has just passed a law that makes it difficult for me.
Now, my brother Dennis, thank you for bringing that topic. Let me ask you, do you like the kind of bullying that is happening to Raila Odinga Jr. currently? Do you like it? Do you support it?
The Constitution of Kenya has given us what again? Freedom of expression.
And where does your freedom stop at?
My freedoms
Uh-huh.
stop where yours begin, right?
Exactly.
There are channels in the Constitution of Kenya where you can go to court and prosecute someone based off that which has affected you. The Constitution of Kenya is clear on how all these things will be governed. The Constitution of Kenya is open for everyone to read. But when a government comes in and tells you that whatever it is you post, I determine what is illegal, I determine, that is where the problem is. So yes, I will wake up in the morning, I will go on my social media, I will TikTok, I will criticize you, but if the government will come after me and throw me in jail simply because I posted something that hurt them, that is where the problem is. You're not making it easy for the young people, you're making it difficult for the young people.
Now, this is where the problem is. The problem is moral decay. What we're focusing, we cannot have a country, my brother, where people, just because they know that you own a phone, you just wake up and they start criticizing you because maybe you were born with one leg, all right? Maybe you are not eloquent, and they start mocking you in that aspect. We cannot live in such a country.
This is the same space. I'm sorry, Duke.
Yes.
But let's play both. This is the same space where there are leaders in government today who stood up in the glare of public and said, shoot them in the leg. These are people who said, if somebody walks out of a police station, shoot them.
Yes.
This is somebody who said, if I was in government, I would kill 5,000 young people. Why do we not see the same thing in terms of a blanket stopping of such statements?
The same law is going to strike them.
Is going to.
It is a double edge.
Is going to, but it didn't. Those things have already been said.
Now we have the
Dead
law.
in the water, there's
Now
already-
we have the
there
law.
is
Let's
already-
see how it's going to be.
How do we create a system of balance whereby we operate in the technological age and everything that some people do is technology based? Everything from work to entertainment
Yes.
to education.
Yes.
It's on. So how do you create that balance?
I'm
fairness?
extremely glad that Kenyans today, they even know where their government offices are located, including Parliament, including State House. Those days you could not get even closer to Parliament Road, but nowadays Kenyans know even where the judiciary is located, and the Kenyans have known that these governments, these offices belong to us. I think if somebody is going to joke around with the current system of law that we have in place, Kenyans will take it upon their hands. But when it comes to social media management, my brother, I'm one of those people because I've been trolled personally, all right, for things that I never did. Okay, and nowadays, somebody will just wake up because he doesn't like you, because he doesn't like your sweater or something, my brother, and goes out and, starts abusing you, insulting you on social media. I think we can build a country that is moral, because at the end of the day, my brother, and let me use this now in a social kind of, setup. You raise a very good baby, a very good girl. Okay, I'm a father of a daughter, right? And each and every day I wake up every morning, I tell God, give me the power, the strength to make my daughter grow with the, with the morals. And then at the end of the day, there's somebody who's just joking around and raises a mediocre or whatever, let me not call, for lack of a better word, a mediocre kind of child. And this is the child who's going to marry your daughter, and you're going to have trouble moving forward. People fighting, people who cannot sit down and reason, people who think that, I just go to social media and start abusing Oko because I don't like her eyes and the like. And nice people eyes. Are committing suicide. Very many young people are committing suicide. Not everyone can contain that kind of rejection. Yeah. All right? So we have to find a way on how to have these things managed. But anyway, that is a bill. We have a constitution. The constitution is supreme. You need to remember that.
Okay. And the constitution itself said, any other law that comes that contradicts the constitution is deemed null and void. No, it is not me. It is what the law says. Yes. But leave that alone. So let's speak in terms of this bill that is now so good. If you look at the country that is Kenya, even the constitution that we have, it has heavily borrowed on the United States Constitution. And United States, you look at what their creators do to the president. Satire, political satire is allowed. President Donald Trump receives it on a daily basis. But they understand freedom of expression, and citizens have the right to do that. I mean, there are laws that govern everything. There are institutions that are there mandated to investigate and prosecute these matters. But when a government comes in to gag Mwananchi from speaking, Kenyans will speak, and Kenyans will say, here, you're going wrong, and there's nothing wrong in doing that. But seems as if the government there is today is hell-bent in silencing Kenyans and silencing dissent. Is that right? Or is that wrong, is the question?
We are not silencing Kenyans. The government is silencing indecency.
Okay.
Simple. Kenyans, nobody's going to stop Kenyans from speaking. Dennis.
Yeah. It's a good thing. Yeah. And let me start from saying it's a good thing.
Yes.
Okay? But, there's a reason why I started with this young lady's cry for change. Okay?
Yes.
So, along the way, government finds itself busying itself in business that one would wonder whether there is anything else that needs to be done. And perhaps I can invite you to share in one of those things that needs to be done. And I'd like to hear your take on it. There's an exam that's starting on Monday that has never been done in Kenya before. It's for the the current grade 9s. They'll go into grade 10 next year. There are some schools who've not received capitation this term to then be able to sort out those exams. From 2022, going back 5 years, the amount of capitation that has been owed is 64 billion shillings. Owed. That's not money that you said you were going to. It was money that was budgeted for. It was supposed to run schools in the country, was never paid. This year, out of the capitation that is 22,000, this is just for high school. I'm not even talking about primary school or day school. I'm talking about high school. 22,244 shillings is what each student is going to get. Ministry tells us that they will retain 5,000 shillings for infrastructure. So we said, okay, fine, no problem. Because that means you will not go back to parents to ask them for money. The amount of money this year, 2025, that has been sent to schools is 10,376 out of 22,244 shillings. There is a backlog of 12,000 shillings. And this would just be me and a few others, would imagine that would be the thing that you would busy yourself trying to find out to make sure that millions of children who are in school will then get the money that is promised under the same constitution that you quote.
Yes.
To them to be able to go to school.
Yes.
So here I am, like the justice statue, and I have both my hands and I'm trying to weigh the balance and say, okay, are we going to busy ourselves with what people are posting on social media, or are we going to send children to school? Are we going to ensure that there's money that will be in hospitals so that when you or I go to hospital, we can be treated based on the promise that was made? Are we going to busy ourselves with making sure that roads and infrastructure is up to scratch so that people can take food from farm to market? Wouldn't you think that those are things that we would busy ourselves
And actually,
with?
those are the things that Raila Odinga was actually fighting for each and every day. Justice and equitable distribution of resources.
Exactly.
Now,
So wouldn't you think that that's what some attention could be paid to, perhaps?
I like your argument, but again, in this country, negativity sells very fast.
It's not negativity. It's reality.
No. Just a
It's the
minute.
reality that this money has not been
Give me a
paid.
minute. Let me talk about this. Why negativity sells very fast? People like drawing the attention, or people like following stuff, negative, and many times good things that are happening, they get to pass. Okay, like some people will begin negative conversations in social media all the time, and probably nobody is telling you what is happening on the ground. Let me ask you a question. Do you know that government? just a minute. Do you know that government overhauled the entire education system, and they realized that there were 3 million registered students that are non-existent? Okay.
Yes, I knew.
Yeah.
But you know what?
Yes.
That system is in the government
Exactly.
department.
Exactly.
That system
Exactly.
sits in the Ministry of Education.
Exactly.
So we shouldn't be surprised. They are the ones who should actually tell us, hang on a minute.
I'm actually not
how
speaking
is
on
it-
behalf of the Minister for
How
Education.
is it that 3 million
Yes.
people
Are ghosts.
who you approve every time money comes out of Treasury,
Yes.
who you have accorded? Imagine, you cannot go to a cyber cafe and accord somebody a chemist number.
Correct.
You can't.
You
It comes
cannot.
from the ministry. So how are they according chemist numbers to people now? They want to come and tell us that they don't know who they are.
Now, let me tell you how they normally come into existence. And this is the reason why I said that all Kenyans must overhaul themselves, because we like blaming the government is corrupt, the government is corrupt. But the people, just a minute, the people themselves are corrupt. You do your research, you realize that actually these names were brought into the system by the principals themselves, by the school principals themselves.
I'm going to ask you
All
a
right?
question.
government
I'm going to
employees.
ask you a
I
question.
agree.
I'm going to ask you a question, Duke, and I would like you to not apply PR to it.
Yes.
To not apply a government stance to it.
Yes.
The chemist system. Who holds that system?
It's the ministry. It's the Ministry of Education.
Can you walk into Jogo House today or wherever that server sits and say,
Yes.
excuse me, today I want to add...
There is an officer there.
No.
Yes.
Can you walk into Jogo House or wherever it sits and say, today I have a new school.
Yes.
And I want to put it in the system. And then you talk to the guy and say, can you put? And he puts. Can you do that?
You cannot.
You cannot. So who controls?
You cannot. Of course, in every system, including where you are working here, Oko, you need to know that we are not born of the same mother. We are not. We don't have similar morals and the like. You can have a very, very good system, but you have people within that system who are dangerous.
I'm going to go to my
Okay,
original
so
question because time is going.
Yes.
I want to go to my original question. I want
Yes.
you to answer this for me. Don't you believe that there are things that are pressing on millions of Kenyans today that need attention more than some of the things that we are busying ourselves about and paying attention to on social media?
I agree. There are many because issues to do, for instance, with education and health and such issues, they are very, very central in the lives of Kenyans. But again, you cannot again assume that a person who is disabled somewhere is not an important person. Okay, he also has to be listened to and he has to be taken good care of. So for me, my take or my stand is this: that yes, for sure, there are very many issues that need to be fixed. And we should not assume that those issues are not being fixed.
They're not.
They are
I'm
being
telling you,
fixed.
they're not. Because
let me-
we're in no.
Let me ask
no,
the
let's
question.
just be very clear on some facts
Yes,
here. Because,
yes.
you can see that I'm getting annoyed and I would have to ask that
Yes.
why don't more people get annoyed? Because you tell us they're being fixed. They're not, my dear. Because in January, there was money that was supposed to go to these schools. It didn't go in completion. It's not being fixed. They tell us it's going to be fixed. We come to second term. There's still money that was supposed to go to these children. It never went.
Yes.
And then we finished second term and then we've come to third term.
Yes.
And there are some schools who have received zero. So when you tell us it's being fixed, you
Yes.
tell us it's being handled,
Yes.
It is not being handled. There are children who've been treated like guinea pigs for the last 6 years. The same children who were the guinea pigs of this new education system went to school when they were in grade 3. The same children are going to grade 10 next year. And they have been the victims of a system that they have been telling us for the last 6 years, we are fixing, it's going to get better. It's not getting better.
I don't want you to relax, don't get annoyed.
No, that's
relax.
the problem, because people don't get upset. People don't get upset, and that's why this mediocre way of doing things is acceptable. And that's why that young lady cried and she said, leave it to us, because we cannot take this kind of thing anymore. That was her cry. It was not that they wanted to be in the streets. Her cry was to stop this.
Who is that man on your on the paper you are holding?
You know him.
The cabinet secretary for education is called Migos Ogamba. I'm going to connect you with him immediately after this, and he needs to come here, right? So that he responds to some of those questions, because I might respond to things I don't know. I think is that a very good point to explain what is happening. I just told you what I know that is ongoing. I know a complete overhaul has been done in the ministry, but I don't know the other nitty-gritties in the process. We have to fix this problem, and we must begin from the root cause.
Which is?
Okay, the root cause first. Why do we have more students in school that don't exist? This is the only country, my brother, where sometimes you wake up and you find there's an existing constituency. It's not the president who created it. There are some serious Kenyans here, bro, with funny brains and other things, and they're able to do these things and have things happening and running.
And you see, that's where the problem is, because you talk about funny Kenyans who have access to this system, but remember, this system is owned by the people of Kenya, but it is being supervised. It is being supervised.
That has ever been
it is being supervised. It is being supervised or managed by the government of Kenya. Therefore, responsibility of making sure that this system works is the government of Kenya. As Ndu previously asked, there is no way the government of Kenya that handles chemists, that handles IFMIS, does not have powers to go to the back end to audit its own system and find out where the problem is. Failure by the government to do all these things that they are required to do is why Kenyans today are on the streets demanding that the government does better. And there is no mistake in Kenyans demanding that right is done by them. Today as we speak, there are 2 Kenyans who are missing in neighboring country, Uganda. The government of Kenya is silent. But I will look at that with what other jurisdictions are doing. For instance, it's a bad example, but look at what Israel is doing because people were taken hostage in Palestine. They have fought every day to ensure the citizens are brought back home. Look at what today we are going through an extradition process to make sure that that soldier who killed a Kenyan in Kenya, extradition process is in place to ensure that man comes home, and it is difficult. Why are we not seeing the government of Kenya fighting for its people with examples that do exist? When Kenyans get out there and say, government of Kenya, do right by us, they are demanding that right is done because it is not happening. They are frustrated that the government they put in place is not working for them, but for their own interest.
Kenyans, we are very good at fixing situations, and I'm glad that they're even going beyond. They're going international to fix situations in Uganda and Tanzania. I heard the other day that they were actually even going to Tanzania to fix what is happening with Samia Suluhu. Sometimes, you know, I love the energy we have, but my brother, sometimes it needs to be controlled. I don't think that the government is not... The government has always pushed for Boniface Mwangi and the rest. They have gone to Uganda, they've done stuff.
So the government
has used its own ways on how they came back to the country. The only thing that we normally imagine, and this is the mindset we need to change, my brother. Government does not make things happen just by... No, there's a procedure. You cannot wake up today, my brother Dennis, and you are going to Tanzania and you're telling Samia Suluhu, I want these people out, I want this thing to happen. Governments have their own jurisdiction.
The government has a spokesperson. The government has a spokesperson who can tell Kenyans what is happening. The government can come out and address Kenyans on where Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo are. The government has been silent. The families are begging the government of Kenya to tell them of the whereabouts of their loved ones. They are not doing that. The government is failing the very families of people they are supposed to take care of, brother.
Hey, brother, you're seriously, you know, fighting the government. which is normal, which is okay. But
I'm not fighting the government. I'm being critical of the government.
I don't want us to get emotional because some of us, we have seen the things that have happened. We have been around ever since post-election violence. We can't keep on, saying, government this, government that. Can we fix these situations? Can we find solutions? What needs to be done? And for me, I will still insist that we must start by ourselves. We change our mindset on how we're approaching stuff. We cannot approach things in this country all the time, using thorax. We can talk to each other. We can tell each other, my brother, yes, there's an issue here. There's a serious issue of unemployment. What do we do? What are you going to do as a person? We make things happen.
Oh, that's
but
great.
This kind of,
the answer or the method that is being used in the solution seeking that you're talking about is folks continuously every day telling us about how they're going to make political chess moves. In the light of the things that you're talking about that are very important to be addressed, their focus is on political chess moves. So pray tell, how should the people of Kenya react when the issues, which nobody needs reminding about, are in the public glare, but the attention is focused on politics? How would you want people of Kenya to react in our last 10 seconds?
All right. Let's change the way we are doing things. Let's talk issues. Let's not be duped by slogans, for instance, because politicians have a way of doing their thing, and Kenyans need to realize that politicians wake up every day to talk, create slogans. That is their job. Let's focus on real issues, and we have very many organizations. We can come up with very many groups that talk issues, real issues, each and every day, because if we continue with the kind of tribalism that emanates, for instance, like what I saw the other day with the governor of Nyeri and the like, and we continue giving prominence to those kind of conversations, we will lose it. Can we begin even using whatever social spaces that we have and start asking those questions? Probably, Oko, you are the only person.
Social spaces, you just told us that we can't do it.
No, do it. Ask those questions, the questions you are talking about, Oko. Don't wake up abusing Oko. That's what I'm saying.
All right, there we go.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Wake up every day. Let each and every person ask where there is this capitation. Instead of waking up to ask, why does this person... I saw, like the other day, they were trolling this lady from Minnesota on her dressing code. She's around, she came around, to look for ways on how we can fix situations. People are busy talking about, we don't like your skirt, you don't look funny. Those things are not going to change this country.
All right.
Yes.
As sad as we are to have to let you go, we have to because of time. But we want to thank you so much for being here this morning.
Thank you.
Duke Mainga has been here with us this morning. Asante for joining us on that conversation. Looking forward to many more. At 8:01, good morning.
Latest news from around. This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.